I will never forget that night. It all started quite normally, a cold winter evening, a deserted train station, and a night train that I was planning to take to visit a friend in another city. I was tired and bought a ticket for the last train, hoping to get some sleep along the way. The train was old, creaky, and almost empty, all signs of a future nightmare. But I didn't pay attention to them at the time. I sat in my compartment, comfortably located at the end of the train. The carriage was practically empty, with just a few passengers scattered in the neighboring compartments. The wind howled outside the windows, and the dim light of the lamps created a sinister atmosphere. I immersed myself in a book, trying to kill time, and didn't even notice when the train started moving. A few hours passed as the train entered a tunnel. The lights flickered and went out, leaving me in complete darkness. At first, I thought it was just typical electrical problems, but soon realized I was wrong. Strange sounds, like someone scratching the door with claws, echoed outside my compartment. My heart froze, and I felt cold sweat trickle down my spine. I decided to step into the corridor and see what was happening. Darkness enveloped everything around, and only the faint light from my phone's flashlight pierced through it. The sounds grew louder, and I heard a muffled scream from the depths of the carriage. My throat went dry with fear, but I kept moving forward until I reached the next compartment. The door was ajar, and I cautiously peeked inside. There was no one there, but I felt a strange, malevolent presence. Something unnatural was in this train. I closed the door and returned to my compartment, trying to figure out what to do next. Soon, the sounds repeated, but now they were closer. I heard heavy footsteps outside my compartment door. Fear gripped me, and I clutched the book in my hand as if it could protect me. The door slowly opened, and I saw it. The monster was horrifying tall, gaunt, with long clawed fingers and glowing eyes. Its face was grotesque, and saliva dripped from its mouth. It emitted a low growl, and I felt my legs buckle with fear. Gathering all my courage, I threw the book at the monster and ran out of the compartment. I raced down the corridor, hearing the monster pursuing me. Fear drove me, and I tried not to look back, though every instinct screamed to run faster. I reached the end of the carriage and opened the door, leaping into the next one. The carriage was abandoned, and the light flickered dimly, casting eerie shadows. I knew there was nowhere to hide and kept running, trying not to think about the monster closing in on me. I found a metal pipe and grabbed it, ready to fight. The monster was already close, its eyes glowing in the dark. I realized I couldn't run anymore. I had to fight. When it approached, I struck it with the pipe. The monster angered it. It lunged at me, and we grappled. The monster was strong, its claws tearing my clothes and skin. I felt the blood trickle down my arms, but I kept fighting, trying to fend it off. Suddenly, I saw a box in the corner of the carriage with a red label, flammable. I knew this was my chance. I broke free from the monster's grip and dashed to the box. Opening it, I found several flares. I lit one, and the bright light illuminated the carriage. The monster retreated, its eyes squinting from the light. I realized it was afraid of fire. Holding the flare, I began to approach the monster. It retreated, growling and hissing. I threw the flare at it, and the monster howled in pain, backing away further. I grabbed another flare and continued advancing. The monster was cornered, and I knew this was my chance. Summoning all my courage, I threw the second flare at the monster. It roared and, trying to escape, leaped out of the carriage. I rushed to the door and saw it disappear into the darkness under the train's wheels. The train slowly approached the final station. I sat in the corner of the carriage, trembling from exhaustion and fear. The morning light penetrated the windows, dispelling the darkness and fear. People on the platform hurried about their business, not noticing my worn-out appearance. When the train stopped, I stepped onto the platform, feeling my legs buckle from fatigue. That night was the most horrifying event of my life, and I knew I would never take a night train again. The monster had vanished, but the memory of it would stay with me forever. This story will remain in my memory as the scariest night train nightmare I ever experienced.